Hi, this is Pascal from SciCode, and this is the third and final tutorial in the screencast showing you how to create the dummy brochure site that we have available for you to play around with on demo.webiva.net. In this screencast, we're going to show you how to add in a contact form to the Contact Us page. To do that, we're going to use the Webiva Custom Content Model System. To get there, let's click on Content, click here on Custom Content Models, and we're going to add in a new custom content model. Let's call it contact. Oh, what do we got? Contact requests. I'll get it. There we go. And this is going to create a new content model. We can decide what fields we want in here. So let's say we want a name. Got a special field for email. Say we want a message field, and we can pretty much add in whatever fields we want. If we're in a specialized industry and we want to add a whole bunch of additional fields, we can do that. You can see there's a lot of options here, but for the most part, we can just leave those as is. If we pick the fields right, the system should go in and create a model for what we need. Now, I actually forgot we're going to add in a couple additional fields. We're going to add a date and time field called submitted. And we're going to add in one more field called IP address. So we can go back in, click save, and those fields will now show up in our content model. We're going to jump here into configure, and we're going to say main page. And what that'll do is make sure that our content model now shows up on the main content page. There it is, contact requests. Okay, so we've got the content model, but what we need to do now is create a form. And to kind of expose any custom content model onto your Webiva website, you need to publish it. And there's a number of different publication types you can use. In this case, we're going to use an entry create form. And what that does is when they submit the form, it's going to create an entry. By default, it's going to add all our fields to that form. You can say, that field is required. And then you'll notice if we click Save and Preview, it'll show us what our form looks like. We've got that submitted at an IP address. We're not really going to ask people to put those fields in themselves, so we can switch it from an input field to a dynamic value. Say we just want the current date and time and the IP address of the user. Now if we click Save and Preview again, you'll see those fields have disappeared from the form, but they are going to be filled in dynamically by the system. So we can come here, we can put in a couple options. Let's just say we want the submit button text to say submit instead of create. And we want the form to display vertically, which will put the labels above the fields themselves. So let's click Save and Preview. See our form now is a submit button, and the fields are stacked vertically. Alright, so if we click Save, we can now jump back to website. We're going to need a submitted page, so let's add that in right now before we jump into the editor. And let's click on the Contact Us page and jump into Edit Page. Once again, we can mix dynamic and static content on one page. So we can say Contact Us, make it an H1 heading. If we want to put some contact details or whatever we need to put, we can obviously paste that in as well. And then we need to add that publication we just created. It's going to show up at the bottom of the paragraph list under publications. Just drop that into the main zone, tell it where to go once it's submitted. And there we go. Form is dropped in there. If we go to the submitted page, we can just tell them thank you. If we jump back to the contact form page, we'll see we've got our form here with our contact page. Click submit. We're going to get some error messages. So if we say Pascal Testorama at psycho.com and hello, click submit. we'll get taken to the thank you page. We can jump back into our structure, and sure enough, you guys can now see the IP address of where I just posted this from. We've got this entry into our form. If this were a live site, you would probably want to be notified of the fact that someone just submitted a contact request. So what we can do is we can jump into the publication and add a new triggered action. And we'll say, you know, whenever a new entry is created, we want to send an email. New contact request. And we can go ahead and fill out the rest of these fields. I'm not going to do that because the system isn't going to send one out because I'm here on the demo.webiva.net site. But there you have it. We've quickly added a contact form into the system. Now the custom content model system can be used for a whole lot of other things besides just contact form. You can use it for lists. You can use it for, you know, detailed views of you know, structured pieces of data. So it's not just for contact forms, but that is one thing you can use it for. That pretty much covers you know, creating that basic brochure site that we've got on demo.webiva.net. You should now be able to create that from scratch if you follow this tutorial. Feel free to shoot us an email if you want to play around with it a little bit more time. We can extend the time that any demo has to give you a little more time to play around with the system. Or you're more than welcome to download it off of GitHub. We've got installation instructions on webiva.net/doc. That'll show you how to get the system up and running, and then you can play with it for however long you want. This is Pascal at Psychode. Hope you enjoyed this introductory series of screencasts, and there should be a lot more coming soon.